So I've been contemplating this for some time, and I'm going to produce this video with the realization that some will say you are incorrect. That's okay with me. And the reason it's okay with me is that I research and I try to expose the hoax-lie system. I do not profess perfection. I do not profess to be 100% accurate on everything. So I'm going to give you the case that the man who's called George Axelrod. Now that's an interesting name, Axelrod. Most likely the woman who is called George Axelrod is in reality, R-E-E-L, reality, the one that we knew as John F. Kennedy. So let me give you the picture, and then I'll give you some more information. And you can process it, and you can say yes, you can say no, or you can say I'm not sure. That's okay with me because I'm dealing only in probabilities, not actual 100% accurate facts. So I'm trying my best, and I'm going to make a case that George Axelrod is actually JFK. Now, how I discovered this was I watched this rather obscure movie called Lord Loveth Duck, of which Axelrod was the screenwriter. And in the bonus features, they had some information about Axelrod. And I looked at Axelrod in his younger years and I said, oh my gosh, that looks exactly like JFK. So the picture helps us, but it's not perfect. And it gives us correlations and possibilities. So this was my highest possibility that I got on the picture with Axelrod on this side over here and Kennedy on this side. %66%. Okay, now I'm going to keep Kennedy the consistent factor on the left, and that's the early Kennedy with the naval PT-109 garbage. Incidentally, 109 is your 911 code. Kennedy on the left, and kind of a fatter George Axelrod on the right, but yet the statistic probability remains still pretty high there, 52%. Again, varying the photo on the right, Axelrod, the screenwriter, producer in Hollywood, on the right, and Kennedy on the left. Now we're going to change the Kennedy photo on the left with a presidential photo, and we're going to go back to some of the Axelrod photos. You're getting 52%, which is really pretty good in my estimation. It's a little better once you enter into the 60%, but 52% gives you a basis to make a case. So I'm going to give you some more information here in a minute. If you'll just hang on there with me and not click me off, as I know so many people like to do, click you off within 2 minutes because they can't handle more information because they've been commercialized. By that I mean their brain has been molded to think in 30-second slots. Okay, back to Axelrod. Varying Axelrod there on the right with the same Kennedy picture. You still get 45%. And we'll do one more. And there's a really high one. And you can see this is a presidential photo of, let's say, the more middle years of Kennedy in his life, or her life. And this is kind of a younger Axelrod getting a 62%, which is really good. Now we're going to go to the just general stats on the Wikipedia, and we're going to look at some things, and I'm going to make some inferences on that. Back to this whole idea of Hollywood and film production and hoaxing people in the political realm. Now you have D.W. Griffith, who was great film director in the silent era, who will play and who will be Woodrow Wilson. There's no doubt in my mind on that one, okay? That D.W. Griffith is Wilson. You also have some pretty obvious ones like John Wayne becoming LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, okay? So you have some pretty obvious ones. You have Clark Gable, who is Eisenhower, all right? So out of the Hollywood deal comes the ground which you pick out your potential political hoaxers. All right. So here we have a screenwriter director who was involved also with the Manchurian Candidate film, and who also was involved with Marilyn Monroe, okay, in the 7-Year Itch play. And that was about a man who fantasized having an affair. Now Marilyn Monroe is Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy, the wife of LBJ. So you have a relationship here with Marilyn Monroe and Axelrod and President Kennedy. Now I'm just giving you some hints, and I'm not saying that all this information clearly determines. I'm going to try to cover my bases and say, yeah, I could be wrong, and that's okay. I'm not worried about being wrong. I'm just more worried about people believing all the hoaxes and the lies out there, all right? So Axelrod is born, according to this, in 1922. Now Kennedy is born in 1917. Okay? So there's not much difference in date of birth. Now I don't pay much attention to date of death, because you can take any character on the stage of hoax history and kill them off. All right? But Axelrod will die in, I think, 2003. 2003. He's a screenwriter, producer, playwright, film director. He has all the qualifications that the hoax lie system likes and loves. Okay? and he's in the Hollywood crew, an area of movie stars, producers, film directors, who are really basically sorcerers, all right? Because they use their films to convince you of things. Now, one of the films that Axelrod was involved in was The Manchurian Candidate, 1962. Manchurian Candidate, all right? And that's about the assassination of a president. Now, supposedly, according to this article, that in this article tells you that right here, Kennedy approved of, right up here where it says prophetic tale, yet President John F. Kennedy personally approved the original production, phoning United Artists chief Arthur Cream to let him know that he liked the novel and hoped it would make a good movie. When the heck do presidents ever get involved in movie making? Where is that in their job description? You see what I'm getting at? That if it is Axelrod, who's JFK, this is a clue. 13 months after the picture was released, Kennedy is assassinated, supposedly, and we know that was just a bunch of bobbleheads and trickery, all right? So the Manchurian Candidate began to take on a morbidity prophetic tone. Now, what you understand by this hoax-like system is this: they give signals, they give warnings, they give you something in movie script that will supposedly happen in real history, and we have one now in Ohio with the so-called deadly gases. It's just a movie script. The China Syndrome movie came out almost identical to the time of, guess what, 3 Mile Island. And the movie Contagion covered the last script that's lasted for us for about 3 or 4 years. So the movie scripts paved the way for what will become the news. So I'm making a case that George Axelrod, okay, film director, screenwriter, producer, he even wrote novels, okay? But George Axelrod, what a name, is JFK. And all the stuff about JFK, they were just movie scripts. The PT-109. Okay? You see, politics is nothing but movie scripts. Okay, and there's Axelrod with Ed Sullivan, okay? Kennedy and Nixon. Nixon was Sullivan, Ed Sullivan. So we'll go back to the Pic Triv. For those of you who need the substantiation with the visual, I'll do my best here. President Kennedy on the left, and movie screenwriter, producer, author George Axelrod on the right. You can be the judge. You can say yes, you can say no, or you can throw your hands up and say, I don't know. And you know what? I make videos for my enjoyment too, and not necessarily to prove to the world I'm right about everything. I'm not. But I'll tell you what, I'm struggling. I'm trying. And that, I think, is what really counts in all this YouTube video stuff. All right? And I don't want to get hung up on numbers. I'm just going to do my best to give you my research, and you can do with it as you like. Once again, I'd like to thank you for watching. This is the end of the video.